Hello, my friends, and welcome to Jacob's Ladder. I'm so happy that you're here, and I have to tell you we have a quite extraordinary and crazy show. As the thumbnail, I'm sure, gives away, what a day we are in, my friends. Hello, hello, and hello. I'm so happy that you're all here and that you all hit that little like button. It's important. You hit that like button and it gets a lot of people here. Whoo! How about that thumbnail, huh? Who's going to go see that Joker movie? And who would have thought that that Joker movie is totally connected to everything that's going down today? It is a mass delusion, my friends. I see you all in the chat. Okay, we got a lot of people here already. Right on. I'm excited. Hello, Adrian. Hello, John Doe. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Patron. Hello, everybody. A lot of madness. A lot of talk of madness. A lot of talk of mental health. A lot of mental health issues going on. People don't even know what to do anymore. People are acting nutty. Everywhere they're acting nutty. We have a monstrous news that just broke. It's terrible things that we're going to be talking about and wonderful things that we're going to be talking about, but it's all bonkers. It's all loopy. It's all mental, if you will. And I don't know if you saw it. There's protests going on in France. There's stuff going on in Germany. There's big, huge protests going on right now in Israel. All of these things are connected. The Trumpster just met at Waco. That was the first stop in his tour, his big bid to come back. The hero, he's coming back, or the anti-hero. It depends on what you think he is. If you're a fan, good. If you're not a fan, good, because this show is going to get you to think more. It's all witchcraft. Whoo. But the witches are the witches that they're coming after. Is it like, are they like, the ones with the hats and the brooms? Or are they going to kind of twist this thing? And is this witch hunt going to be after people that are really Christians? There's a lot of weird persecution going on in the world today. But, that's because everybody's mental. So let's talk about the mental health that is now going crazy in the country. I don't know if you're a fan of this show, Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, very good show on Apple. If you have Apple TV, which I have all the apps. It's only like one show here, one show there. Nothing's really great anymore. TV's just incredibly boring. I get more excited about doing my shows than I do about watching TV. But Ted Lasso was kind of an encouraging thing. It's about football. A coach who knows nothing about football takes over a team. But there's a big theme of mental health that is part of this show. And he brought it to the White House. Now, the word Ted, by the way, means gift of God. How about them apples? Gift of God, huh? Yeah. You know what lasso means? To snare. To snare. I caught you. I'm going to snare the gift of God. I'm going to get you in a little noose, if you will. Ironically, John Fetterman, his name means noose too, and snare. Some people don't even know if it's the real guy. We're going to talk about it. I have so many things to get into today. This show may last 30 hours. I think I'm just going to pull an all-nighter. So I'm just kidding. It'll be about an hour long. All right, so Ted Lasso, he visits the White House to promote mental health. But you know what happens right after he goes on? And, because Jill and Joe Biden, they're big fans of the show. He on Twitter posted out this picture with the, the famous Ted Lasso sign says believe, which if you don't watch the show, you probably have no idea what they're talking about. I just thought, since we're on the theme of witchcraft, that this is all about, belief. Believe. V-E. Teen mental health, it's a crisis. Social media platforms, they have ruined everybody. They've ruined everybody. You get those notifications on your phone about how long you're on your phone? And you're like, I've been on my phone for 15 hours? How is that possible? That's like a lot of people today. All slaves of that black mirror, looking into that thing. Look at this thing. Just looking at it. Just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You know, things can be used for good. They could be used for evil too. But the Ted Lasso group, they came around to talk about the big issues that we're having on the mental health front. And I got to tell you, Urban Folklore in the live chat, he's like, yo, calm down. If you're new to the channel, I can be a little excitable. I get excited. I get excited to come on here. I get excited. I love all of you. I'm so happy we have almost 1,000 people watching already. At what time is it? It's like 3:00. That makes me feel so good. You know, and it really says a lot about all of you, because I know that you come on here and you do hit like. You haven't even watched the show yet. This show could be like the most boring thing ever. I promise it's not going to be. I promise you. This is a good one. This is a good one, and it has a lot of twists and turns along the way. But I get excited. So, you know, I'm just happy that you're all here. Thank you. So do hit the like button. But mental health is a big issue. But you know what? Even him, Ted Lasso, I think his name is Sadokis. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he and a group visited, and the press secretary was taking questions, and it got interrupted. I want to show this to you because I think it's so funny. It just really is interesting to me. So there's the group. There's the crew right there. And there was a reporter who was very unhappy because I guess he comes all the time and he never gets called on. Not very fair. So I don't know if you can hear him or not, but it's like, this is not cool.
This is not China. This is not Russia. This is not Russia.
Okay.
What you are doing, you are making a monkey of the first amendment.
Look at how uncomfortable the people are behind the press secretary. Just so funny.
On times, welcome, guys. Welcome to the press briefing room. Okay.
This is not right.
So you get the idea, right?
Are you ready?
So he just blew it up. He just blew the whole thing up. That's what went down. He's like, I'm not going to take this anymore. This isn't free speech. This is, welcome to America, right? So she should have told the reporter. I think his name was Simon Ataba, I think is his name. He's from like Today's News in Africa or something. And not very cool that he could never get a question in. But, you know, we got to talk about Ted Lasso. Got to talk about mental health. Got to talk about that the noose that's going on God's gift. The gift that God gives everybody, right? To live a free, wonderful, enjoyable life that's filled with peace and purpose and hope. And they lasso it and they pull you in. They pull you into, you don't even know who people are anymore. Everybody thinks everybody's somebody else now. This is a clone now. That's what they're saying. Fetterman's gone. This guy, Dan, I think he spelled Fetterman's name wrong, but what are you going to do? You remember Fetterman? Him and Dr. Oz, they went head to head. They were calling Trump the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if they were calling Trump the Wizard of Oz. I was calling Trump the Wizard of Oz for this whole thing. Interesting. You know what a fetter is? It's a chain. That's right. A manacle to restrain people. Fetterman. To restrain man. Ted Lasso. To restrain man. There's something spooky going on, and I think God's revealing it. If you're new to the channel, right? So I probably come across as a little goofy, a little woo-woo, whatever woo-woo means. I don't know, but it seems, goofy. You think that I am one of those goofy guys that has a bunch of cats. I only got one cat. But I'm telling you, when you look at life and you peel back the layers, there's a message. There's a message that is being broadcast to everybody. Spell. It's a spell. They're spelling it out, right? When you're doing a movie, what do? They cast the movie. They cast. It's casting. It's like Harry Potter stuff. It's going to get interesting. You watch this. So Fetterman, everybody's going around. They don't know if it's really him or if it's somebody else. And I think that people have gone a little bit. I think everybody's jumped the shark a little bit. It doesn't, even my wife, when I was putting the show together, she came in yesterday, and she's like, "That's not him. That's not the same guy." I'm sure those two pictures are probably years in between, and a lot has changed. But yeah, they don't look the same. You got to tell me in the comments section. Got to leave me a comment, and you got to tell me if they're the same. I don't know why they would go through the trouble of. I mean, this guy's got like a huge goiter, a huge one on his neck, right? That's why he wears the hoods all the time. Not in the best shape either. This guy needs to get in good shape. But like right after he won the Senate, he somehow he's like a senator or something, right? He's a big hotshot in government. He goes into like a mental health program, suffering from like depression or something. Mental health, everything's mental today. You got to tell me in the live chat too. There's over 1,000 people in the live chat. Do me a favor, less than half of you hit the like. Let's get more people here. Some people are saying, just like, who was just saying this? Was it you, Foley? Saying, I think he just died in the hospital. Some people are saying, well, would they go through the trouble of finding somebody a lookalike? I don't understand why they would do that. Isn't there like a number 2? It just seems like a whole lot of work. And especially like bad casting. I'm sure they could get somebody that looks the same. So that's why I'm thinking it's probably the same guy. He's probably just not as healthy as he once was. If he was ever healthy, I don't know. Mental health is an issue. People are losing their marbles today. And it's no wonder. It's no wonder. You see riots, you see protests, you see in all these countries. This is the bubbling point that I said we were going to get to. It's been predicted in all of these magazines, all of these covers. They've showed us this. They've showed us the division that was coming. I've been on here for years, since 2008, 2015 and on, since I had that weird, wacky dream, and I wrote that essay. I've been like telling everybody, buckle up, get ready, right? And now it's time for us all to put on our God's Champion shirts. Hey, check that out, huh? And I made a mistake. This is only good for like another 3 weeks. So if you want to get the God's Champion stuff, you can get it. It's in the description of the video before, but we really do need to gird up our loins. Today is the day. You're going to find the end of this message. It's a message for all of you to be strong, to gird yourself up, to buckle up. That's what girding is. Buckle up. Get ready. Be a man if you're a man. Be a woman if you're a woman. Be strong. Be strong. That's what you need to be. Adorn yourself, because God's going to have his way today. This is, even though madness is everywhere. You know the movie The Joker? You know, this nihilistic, terrible movie, which everybody was like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix, he's a genius and everything else. I got to tell you, it was a very dark film, and he's a great actor, sure. You know, him and River Phoenix, and that's his older brother who died at a very, very young age, and all the occult nonsense that's connected to all of these people, just very, very dark to me. Very dark to me. And the new one, Lady Gaga's in. She's playing Harley Quinn. So now I'm bringing this up for a reason, okay? I'm bringing this up for a reason because this is incredibly symbolic that this is happening right now. As Paul in the live chat saying, as all the banks are collapsing. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's all connected. Erick says clones, clowns, and world clones. A lot of weird stuff for sure. But the Joker, the number 2, the follow-up, the sequel, is going to have Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, which is, Margot Robbie played Harley Quinn in the last couple. The something squad, Suicide Squad. The James Gunn, who has all those, I don't know if you know anything about James Gunn, but he's like a celebrated director who had to delete like something like 30,000 disgusting, perverse tweets about underage, boys and weird, like in its comedy. And this is God is doing something. He's bringing correction. You're going to see it. There's such a major shift going on in the world. I don't know if you've noticed. There's such a major shift going on in the world Things, the pendulum swung too far to one side. So now it's going to be course corrected. And unfortunately, it's going to be course corrected very, very hard. I mean, it's going to be tough over the next year and a half. I'm pretty sure about that. So it looked like there were protests erupting, which is ironic because everybody thought that because of the Trumpster. And of course, we've talked about the Trumpster, and we talked about the trial with Stormy Daniels and everything else. Thank you, Genius by Birth. What a great super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hey, everybody, do me a favor, will you? Will you love on each other in that live chat? I don't have, people ask me all the time, why don't you give that wrench out? It's like, I don't want to give power to anybody to boot anybody. I want everybody to love on everybody. I know there could be some people in there that are paid to do whatever. Listen, I'm not worried about any of that stuff. People if they're just broken and they're messed up, that, we got to love on them. We got to forgive them. We got to meet them where they're at. But if you do see something that is really bad, report it. Report it. And by the way, while we're on that subject, I don't ask for money. I don't WhatsApp people. I don't in the comment section go under pinned by Jacob. I don't do that. It's either me or it's not me. And I'm not going to come to you at the comment section. I'm not going to send you an email. I'm not going to DM you and ask you for money or, I'm not going to say I need help. So if you know, you know. All right. There are ways that you can support the channel. The best way to do it right now is hitting a like, sharing it around, telling people about the channel. You can get yourself a copy of The Calling on Amazon or anywhere else. Get yourself some merch. These are things you can do. Of course, I have Patreon and everything else, but I'm not going to be asking you for stuff. There are a lot of scammers, and Lord, forgive them, but correct them, because I don't like people being taken advantage of. And it seems like today a lot of people are taking advantage of a lot of people. But in New York, this is going down right now. Well, it was going down. They were filming the Joker. Now, guess where they're filming it? They're filming it literally at the same building where the Trump thing's supposed to go down. Isn't that nuts? That's mental. Now, coming from somebody who was told they had a bunch of disorders and believed it for a little while, I actually even cut myself at one point in time, right? Because I was so jacked up thinking all the wrong stuff. They put me on all this medication and everything else. I'm not a doctor. I'm not offering advice. But I'm telling you, if you start to believe that you're sick and that you have problems and that you need this or that, and someone says, this is your problem, and you believe it, it'll become. That's called possession. You become possessed by a lie that's not even true. All these things, they said you had this, you had that. I had a litany of things I was diagnosed with. People don't know what they're talking about. These therapists, these people that say science is the way. Let me tell you something. Faith is the way. Understanding that whatever a man believes in his heart, he becomes. This is a key of the kingdom. Whatever's bound in heaven is bound on earth. Whatever's loosed in heaven is loosed in earth. To put it simply, and this is a key that Jesus gave everybody. It's a key to living your life. Whatever you believe up here and speak here will become for you. So watch your words, because the tongue, it's like a double-edged sword. It can, bring life and it can bring death. So speak blessings, not cursings over your life. Looks like the media, all they do is speak curses over us. That's it. That's all they do recently. So of course, when you got the Joker, and people, I guess, the Joker was arrested because of the last film. And of course, everybody was protesting, trying to get the Joker out. Thousands of protesters gathered at the courthouse steps, chanting for freedom for their embattled hero. Police kept watch as passions flared and voices roared. Squad cars and television trucks encircled the commotion. It's a scene New York City authorities have been bracing for as prosecutors considered an indictment against President Donald the Trumpster, who had invited followers to rally on his behalf. But on Saturday, it was just a movie shoot. Isn't it all a movie, people? Isn't this all a movie? Haven't I said that? But madness is everywhere. Madness. Men's hearts failing themselves for fear. Sound thought going bye-bye because they've just been polluted with so much. There have been, some people have said, massive military-grade psychological operations have been just on the entire world to get everybody to do something. And most of the world did something. And now they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing. I just heard coming on here, they said it was breaking news that there was another train crash, I guess. I haven't vetted this, but I guess there was another one. We have another one, another toxic spill, another chemical spill, another this, another that. Everywhere you go, nothing but fear. And, you know, what are they doing? They're trying to keep us in chains and fetters. Lassoing the gift of God. Right there in the White House. Believe. I'm not going to believe your witchcraft, Biden. That's sort of what it is. By the way, when I say witchcraft in Scripture, it's not about, you know, what religion you believe yourself to be, or if you're, you know, a pagan, or you're this or that, another that. I don't want anybody to think that I'm coming against them. In Scripture, witchcraft is simply the spirit of rebellion. That's it. Rebelling from the truth is known as witchcraft. According to the Bible, it has nothing to do with all the other hocus pocus, bippity boppity boops. All right? It has to do with a rebellious spirit. Saul, the king, right? When he left God, which is what a lot of these leaders have done. They've left God. What happens? What do? He goes to the witch. And he conjures her from the dead. The ghost comes back. And what ends up happening with Saul? He loses his kingdom. He loses it. And he ends up kaput. That's what happens when you leave God's blessing. You know, start trusting in your own efforts, you're going to be in trouble. So these protests that erupted, they were not because of Trump, but they were because of the Joker. And I love all of you too. Thank you very much, Sky, saying I love you. That's really nice to see people giving me so much support. I love it. I love the encouragement. It really makes me feel so very special. You all make me feel special. I hope you feel special today. Do you feel special today? Tell me in the comment section. So let's talk about this new Joker movie for a second. Take a look at that, I don't know, what would you call that? Like a float or something, a Joker float. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of when Trump was in that parade. And I think it was in Italy or something, where he had that big thing, and he was known as the Emperor Destroyer, the God Emperor. That's what this just reminded me very much of that. And there, of course, is Lady Gaga, you know, while filming the Joker, and then laying a kiss on because of course that's what they have to do. But here's a little bit of an update for the people that want to know about the film. The film, ironically, is going to be a musical. And as you saw from the thumbnail, the title of it is, I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong because I don't know how to read, especially that French stuff or whatever it is. Folie à deux. But it means shared psychosis. Shared psychosis. Remember when you went to the store? I still go to the store today and I see people wearing stuff. And I feel so bad for them because they're so scared. And they're wearing these things that are like, you know, they have like all these big gaps and everything else. And I'm going, what's the point? What's the point? Fool me once, right? Shame on me. Fool me twice. Shame on you. Or something like that. Shame on me, I guess. I don't know how it goes. But it's not great because everybody's being fooled. Everybody's being fooled. And a lot of people are buying right into it. That their heroes are like horrible people. Like horrible people. Their heroes are horrible people. I've lost subscribers talking about like traffickers who people idolize. It's just a bunch of nonsense today. Mass psychosis. That's the reason why the movie's coming out. Everybody's just lost it. But that's okay. At least one person's coming back in the fold. Speaking of somebody who some people say he has some issues himself. And hopefully he can work that out by just loving people and going to God and letting go all the other nonsense. Well, it's Ye, the light of the world. That's what Ye means, light. He literally changed his name from Kanye to just Ye. And, so he, I guess he saw 21 Jump Street over the weekend, and he was thrilled. He's like, that's it. I like Jewish people again. I saw a funny movie, Jonah Hill. I think he's Jewish. So he's thinking, it's like, that's it. I got to go to Twitter, or where he was not on Twitter, wherever he went, Instagram. And he told everybody that that's it. He's back. He's back, baby. He doesn't hate the Jewish people anymore. A lot of people. I just posted out a simple little thing. I said, good news. I said, you want to stop anti-Semitism? Don't, because they're going to bring you to these camps where they're going to re-educate you if you're not thinking straight. They do this now. I don't know if you know this. In a lot of countries, they do. They re-educate you. I guess what they would do is just play that movie on repeat. So funny, I guess. I don't know. But Jump Street, you know what Jump Street means? It's like a phrase. It means this is the starting point of something new. Jump Street. This is we finally reached Jump Street. Shared psychosis. We finally reached the Great Reset. That's basically what Jump Street is. I find it interesting. Slideways Zatcha just said in the live stream that today is National Joe Day. I don't know if that's true, but if it's National Joe Day, all you Joes out there, happy Joe Day. I don't know what that means, but I do know that 21 Jump Street was one of my favorite shows when I was younger. I used to have long hair. I wanted to have Johnny Depp hair. I remember. Then when Richard Grieco came in, remember Richard Grieco? He was so cool, right? Because he gave everybody the middle finger. He was like, that's because he was so cool. Now, it's think about back then, that was risky and that was edgy. Today, what do you got to do to be risky and edgy today? You got to tell me in the comment section if you think that the media has gone so far down the perversion trail that that's nothing but hell. Hell. That's what's found down there. But what's weird about Kanye was he made some news about the Joker too. Isn't that funny? Just a little while ago, he shared with everybody how he was going to go Joker on Drake. He wasn't too thrilled. And then everybody was starting to call Kanye the Joker. That's true stuff. True stuff. Yeah, how about them apples? Looks like a lot of people are congratulating Robert in there. You got to tell me what Robert did. A lot of people are saying congratulations. I just want to say congratulations, Robert. I don't know what it is, but I love the fact that everybody's congratulating you. So right on. Good job. Hope it's something amazing. Well done. Well done, Robert Gooch. That's what everybody's saying. I know Robert Gooch I appreciate it when all you guys love each other. I just hope that you're listening to me at the same time, because the show is about to take a weird twist and a weird turn when we get back into Trump and we get back into this whole thing with the Joker too. So wild. On the steps of the same courthouse. It's witchcraft after all. But Kanye, he after watching it, he likes Jewish people again. So all is right in the world. Oh, Robert is 28 days. Wow, Robert, that is amazing. That really is amazing. Today is a day. Even I, just so you know, I was talking about the Pinot Noir. Even I am cutting back. I was having a couple of bottles a week. I'm I got to cut back a little bit too. It's easy today to slip down that path. You don't want to go down that path. It's depressant. Really don't do it. There are other things you can do, eating right, being healthy, getting out, just taking a walk. Danielle and I, it was nice. We took a walk around the neighborhood. Hadn't done that in a while. Really does kind of recharge you. Makes you feel good. So good job, Robert. That's awesome stuff. I love hearing that. Okay, so everybody's losing their mind. So we might as well talk about everything that's going on right now in Israel, which, by the way, this is connected. How is it connected? Because, of course, in the news, Netanyahu was slamming Trump for his horrible dinner with Kanye and Fuentes. It was a big mistake. Oh, you think? You think? The head of Israel. You think it was a big mistake bringing Nick Fuentes on? Because, his love, he hasn't seen 21 Jump Street, I don't think. Maybe Ye and him they need to do a screening of it together. All this nonsense of hating other people. It's got to stop. So much right now about people are really just, they've divided everybody up so much. And now there's this big push to make people like myself, kind of, I don't know, feel bad about being who I am. I don't know. It's just very strange to me because God doesn't look to the outward man. He doesn't look to how you look. He doesn't look to your race. He looks to your heart. There's neither Jew nor Gentile nor Greek nor Scythian. There's only Christ in you. That's the whole thing. We're all connected. And that's a problem because the world has done a great job saying that we aren't. So people are stressing out in a big way over these protests that are going down. Do you know why they're protesting, by the way? They're protesting because Netanyahu was trying to push through new legislation where you take away the rights of the court. It would be the equivalent of, the court has no say anymore. It's just basically the government, the people that are in charge. There's no checks and balances. So what ends up happening is the defense minister, he's ousted. He's no longer around. Another person steps down. All of them are they're done with it. They're like, we're done with this nonsense. We're going. We can't stand behind you anymore. But, I got to tell you, I think they're all so smart. I think this is all part of the plan. I always do. Isn't that terrible? I wish I could see these things. I see all these protests and everything else, these massive protests, stuff that's going on in France right now. The revolution that if you haven't seen the last show, check it out. All this is literally happening at the same time that you have, stuff going on astrologically that hadn't happened since like 1776. All of it's really, really interesting to me. But this is like a lot of people in Israel. We're talking I think I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw I don't know if they said 800,000 or something people took to the streets. They're not playing around over there in Israel. They're messing around. And a lot of people got together. A lot of people are sharing a psychotic disorder is what's happening. Is it a psychotic disorder? Are they doing what they're being told? Think about all these big riots that we had and all these terrible things that happened, all these businesses that were burnt down, all this stuff, this tale is as old as time. Remember the terrible Chicago fire that was horrible and just burnt down everything? It made way for a lot of construction. Got rid of a lot of private residences and a lot of private small little businesses and made way for innovation, big cities, skyscrapers and everything else. First skyscraper happened after the Chicago fire. Some people would say, even terrible things make way for great things. Some people would say those terrible things were maybe orchestrated by greedy people that just wanted to push things in a certain direction. The direction they're going, just so you know, I don't know if you can hear me. I want you to pay attention. They want everybody in a cramped space. They want everybody living in one area. They got everybody basically stuck in their house now as it is. But the idea is that no one will own anything in the future. And you'll be happy. You better be. So here's the thing. Going on right now, we almost got 2,000 people watching. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, 3:30 in the afternoon. Oh, I love it. Hit that like button. Let the world know that you're here. And you're happy to be here. I'm happy. I'm happy, especially because I don't think there's a lot of division on this channel. I think there's a lot of love. I think that the Israelites, Light, I think that we're going in the right direction, and I think that God's got us. So I don't want you all to be worried about this nonsense that I'm about to talk to you about because it's about to get a little spooky. So Israel, Netanyahu vows to end the division as thousands protest. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to end this division. Now, is that a good thing? Or is that not a good thing? Does that mean that he's going to kind of stop what's happening? Is he going to stop what's happening? Rich just said 3:30. Rich is like, it's 1:30. What are you talking about? I'm in New York. Just so you know, I'm in New York. If you're watching anywhere else right now, it's 3:36 in New York. different time zone and everything else. But this historic strike leaves Israel at a standstill because no one was showing up to work. People were protesting. People that work for the government were protesting. Restaurants were shut down. Universities were shut down. Transportation shut down. Retailers shut down. But that's okay because soon everything's going to be different. Soon everything's going to be different. They're preparing. They got these red heifers. And it's almost time. And Trump's almost president again. And he's been charged. Let me make this bigger so you can actually take a look at this. He's been charged with, let me see if I can put it up top here, to build a house in Jerusalem. Years ago, I did a video, I think right when he first became president, and there's a picture of Trump's head on the third temple. Wouldn't it be funny? He ends up building that temple, and he goes inside, and he says, hey, look what I did, aren't I great? You know, who's like me, right? I'm kind of like the guy who created this. That would be like fulfillment of biblical prophecy, if not for the fact that the Antichrist is not going to stand in a natural, literal temple built by man's hands. We're the temple of God. That Antichrist is already there pretending that it's you, giving you all sorts of nonsense thinking. Terrible psychosis, mass psychosis, whispering in your ear, brainwashing you. Wouldn't it be weird if they found some way to somehow get into people's minds? Like just get into their minds to be able to just push them in a certain direction. You guys got to fight. You got to fight. You got to fight any kind of negative thinking that's going to push you to hurt others or harm others. When the big thing went down January 6th, right beforehand, I told everybody, don't go. I said, don't get involved. It was very clear to me that there was going to be some shenanigans. When it happened, I said, it's going to be revealed that it was all a bunch of shenanigans. And now we're finding out. So is truth really being revealed? Or are we just becoming suckers once again? I think we may be suckers again. I think a mass delusion is upon us. And I do believe that there is, sick people. Do you know today? And I'm not going to talk about this much. And I kind of covered it up because, I don't even like thinking about this stuff. But if you just Google Covenant School, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you'll understand that. Kim Solomon, thank you very much. God bless you and your family too. I appreciate you in the live chat there with the super chat. That was nice of you. Well, there's been a bunch of attacks on Christians. This was at a Catholic school, right? And a young lady did this. That's weird, right? You don't normally hear about that. You know what was weird was, remember the last couple of ones? They were like elderly men from, I don't know, they looked like they were Chinese, if you remember correctly. The two of them, those last two big things with the bang bangs, and people were, passing away. It was weird because we're like, when has there ever been, a mass bang bang like that looked like that? And then like there was another one like right afterwards. And now a young lady? That's not normal. Even a psychiatrist would say that doesn't fit the profile. Very strange. Unless, of course, they can come in and somehow brainwash you, get you to do certain things. I'm not saying people are going to come in and, literally take you over. I know that I've talked about this in the past and kind of talked about AI and, that would be their thing, right? They take over, they find a way to take over human hosts. But I'm saying that, programming is very simple to do. And it starts with some kind of traumatic event. And then you just feed people the information. You add into the equation that there may be a way, with DARPA and all these programs that they have. You don't think that you don't think they look into how to, control people? Believe me, they do. The Brain Initiative that Obama started years ago was about that. It was about behavioral psychology. But these are heinous attacks. You know where this attack took place? Over in Jerusalem. There was a priest and a bishop. They were just on March 19th. There was a it was like they were getting together, and it was a wonderful ceremony. It was at the Church of Gethsemane in East Jerusalem. That's where the tomb of Virgin Mary is, supposedly. And terrible attack. But this is something that's happening again and again and again. And that woman in the center right there, that's Joan of Arc, by the way. Joan of Arc heard from God. Joan of Arc was used by France and, really brought victory. And what did they do? They ended up burning her at a stake as a witch. Now we're getting somewhere, people. Who caught that? Who caught that? You got to tell me. Aaron, did you catch that? Aaron's telling me I did a great job. I'm doing a great. Thank you, Aaron, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Did you catch that? Did you catch that, Philly fan? Did you catch that? Burned as a witch. But she was not really a witch. She was almost like a prophet. She ended up being canonized later in life. But she was burned as a witch. It was a witch hunt. But that's weird, right? Because she didn't really fit the bill, She was more like a muggle. If you read Harry Potter, I don't know, I don't read it, but we're going to get into Harry Potter in a sec. So this is weird because witch hunt seems to be all that's going around. Everybody's talking about the witch hunt, right? It's Trump, the witch hunt. Everything's the witch hunt. They're crying out. It's the witch hunt. What do you think? You think the one place, maybe in Waco, there was a shared psychotic disorder? You think people call it Trump derangement syndrome? Shared psychotic disorder. It's the name for the Joker movie. Nothing's done by chance. Everything's on purpose, it seems. Or it all comes together, and then God kind of just kind of says, hey, take a look at this. Hey, isn't that weird? Why don't you go check this out? That's what I do. Get these little breadcrumbs. And then I start sharing them on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's JacobIsrael71 on Twitter. Will you follow me there? Will you? I'm up to 20,000 followers there. I get so shadow banned or whatever on Facebook, on Google and everything else. Twitter, I guess people are seeing me there. I'm still growing over there. But Trump loyalists are crying witch hunt at his election rally. Why on earth would he, on the 30th anniversary of Waco, which was a huge, terrible, terrible thing that happened. I mean, we're talking the biggest overreach we've ever seen of the government. What they did was monstrous. It was monstrous. It was so bad. But the question becomes, why would he go there of all places? Do you know anything about the Branch Davidians, right? This is a interesting thing. A lot of people they're not buying the story that Koresh was a bad dude. They're not buying, even though he's on camera saying he's broken up marriages and everything else, even though he took a very, very young bride, and people said a lot of other things. They're saying, oh no, it's all government stuff. Let me tell you something. This is my thinking, right? He could have kept all those people safe by just, not breaking the law. That's my thinking. When the law becomes something that's harmful to others, right? You do things like the scriptures say. You're supposed to obey the authorities, right? To a certain extent. If they're asking you to do wrong, you don't do that. That's a different story. But if it's like a simple thing like, you probably shouldn't, arm everybody and get ready to go to war with people. Like there could have been another way to handle things, but it is what it is. And it happened the way it did. And what happened? Christians, supposedly, if you call them Christians, a lot of people said they were cult, shared psychotic disorder. They were attacked by the government. It was a witch hunt. That's wild, right? I mean, I think it's wild. I think it's wild that these things happen the way they do. And then we see this happening, where he's literally having his election rally, first stop, right there. That's totally sus to me. You know what was really sus was all those pictures that I saw. Let's take a look at those pictures. Behind him, all you could see is witch. Witch. They were handing out witch hunt hats. It wasn't organic. It's not like everybody who showed up like, let me make the witch. No, they were handing it out. They said, here, hold this up. They framed it. MAGA in Latin means witch. Oh, there's Biff Tannen's dual timeline on Twitter. He's an interesting guy. He put up something interesting. Text 88022 for Trump. And it was exactly 88022 days from the day he was born to 15 days to slow to spread. He has these things with numbers. It's just so fascinating to me, because everything's done according to God's plan and purpose, and everything's revealed when it needs to be revealed. And I would like to think that Trump is an awesome dude and he's doing the will of God. I know that he's placed there by God, and if he is going to be president again, it's because of God. But I'm not saying that he's a good guy. I'm not saying that he means, well for us all. In fact, I think more tyranny is coming. I think it's going to be a lot more like Handmaid's Tale in the future. I think that what we see right now going on in Israel with Netanyahu taking away the rights, like no more checks and balances, that's coming here too. I feel it. I don't know, in my bones. And it makes me nervous. Especially since this rally fell directly on the anniversary of such a dark pass. Here's a quote from President Donald Trump in 2018. President Trump, this is what Obama said, would need a magic wand to get 4% GDP, stated President Obama. I guess I have a magic wand, 4.2%, and we will do much better than this. We have just begun. President Donald Trump, he's got his own magic wand. That's why they had the statue at CPAC, the golden statue, with him holding a magic wand. MAGA in Latin means witch, wizard, sorcerer, witchcraft. Simon Magus. In the scriptures, he followed around the apostles and the prophets and everything else. He wanted their power. He did. He tried to buy it. But he wasn't of God, but he looked like he was of God. Now, I'm not saying that about him because I don't know the man's heart. But everything sort of is turning out exactly as I said it was. I mean, not that I knew. I didn't know. I just had an idea. And why? Because I saw so many things to lead me to think this way. You're watching a movie. If you pay attention to the scenery, to what's being said, to what's being presented, maybe in the background, and you could start to really see the deeper meaning. I watch. Jesus said he tried to teach his disciples this. He says you can understand the weather by the signs. You know that when it's a certain way at night, you know what the weather's going to be like the next day. But it's like, don't you understand the signs of the times? Are you not paying attention to the witch hunt that's about to go down? This is wild stuff, people. This is wild stuff. And we are just shy of 2,000 people watching. Do me a favor. You got to let me know in the comments section if you think that this witch hunt thing maybe has something to do with like a Joan of Arc thing. Like maybe they're going to come after, Just because it's called a witch hunt doesn't mean they're coming for witches. Because the irony? Everybody connected to Trump is like a witch. That's so strange to me. Everybody. Remember Lock Her Up? Hillary? Remember her? She's like an honorary coven member of some place. I'll show you in a second. But here, let's just remind ourselves about the witches of Brestwick. Stormy Daniels. The filing notes that Daniels says that she is a witch who practices witchcraft and get rid of spirits for a service, for a charge. Guess what else? The four-person, the person who's in charge of the jury or whatever, the grand jury four-person is bonkers and promotes witchcraft. What is going on? there's so many witches everywhere, right? Years ago, I said the witches were coming. I said it. And now they're everywhere. Everywhere. So strange. Do you remember how many witches hexed him? It was in the news every other day. It was like, oh, witches are hexing the moon for Trump. Oh, witches are smashing Trumpkins. They took pumpkins and they made them look like Trump and they were smashing them. It was like a curse. Feminist witches casting hexes on Donald Trump. Witches hexed Trump and his supporters after the insurrection. And then, of course, there we see Hillary, who was welcomed by the wing into their witch coven. They share a lot of pictures about Satan and stuff like that. Yet on the top, of course, lock her up. That was the slogan. That was the phrase, lock her up. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a special prosecutor and we're going to put you in jail, Hillary. First thing he did as president was told the country to thank her, that we owe her a debt of gratitude. That seems like double speak to me. That doesn't seem very sincere. First thing you're going to do is lock her up, but the first thing you do is congratulate her to tell everybody that we owe her a debt of gratitude? Weird. Now he's back to saying lock her up again. Who knows what to believe? Can you believe a liar? I'm not saying he's a liar. But I will say there is a connection to Waco here, and it's very strange. I had somebody on Twitter who pointed this out to me. Oh, gosh, I wish I remembered your name, but you know who you are. On Twitter, you pointed this out to me. I think I can see your avatar right now. I think it's like Bruce Almighty or something. Koresh means Cyrus. Cyrus. Trump is called Cyrus for Israel. Show's getting interesting now, huh? Isn't that wild? Koresh literally means Cyrus. Bottom of the page, Strong's Concordance, Koresh, Cyrus, the king of Persia. And there's the coin of Trump as the new Cyrus. Cyrus was the one that came in and basically said, you know what? Let the Jews worship their God, rebuild the temple, all that stuff. That's what Trump's doing. He's charged with it. Very strange. Stranger still, at the same time, they release on Netflix American Apocalypse. The Apocalypse of America. Wow. That's fantastic. Because Apocalypse is an unveiling. But do you know that everybody was excited. They were excited about Trump coming to Waco. And the Branch Davidians, they were thrilled. So thrilled, they said that he is God's battering ram. And he's being used to bring down the deep state of Babylon. That's what he's doing. He was going to drain the swamp, which was strange because kind of the first thing he did was he put all the swamp monsters in their place. We got to, a man should be known for his word. His word should be heard and should be upheld. So you got to tell me once again. I know a lot of you are big time supporters of Donald Trump, and it's funny because people say, "Oh, he's better than Biden." I said, "Well, yeah, right." Even I'll be honest. Even I'm rooting that he's a good dude. I'm rooting that because I know it's going that direction. I mean, look at what they've done with DeSantis. I've talked about this in the last couple of shows. About a month or so ago, I told everybody, I said, watch how they start to turn everybody against DeSantis. And they're doing a great job, a fantastic job. Spell, witchcraft. So interesting, all this. Meanwhile, they're both mirror images of each other. So the rally that was meant to remind people of government overreach, well,